Morning. So I had to travel for work yesterday, leaving at 5 a.m. Didn't get back till almost 7 last night. And traveling to Arizona this morning. So I'm going to combine my uh, dynamic effort upper and lower body. So I'm going to be doing my dynamic effort squat, work up to 335 for some doubles. I'm actually going to pair that with my dynamic effort bench. I think going up to 235 or 240 for some doubles. Then I'll do my power cleans and my dynamic effort deadlifts. So just kind of my big lifts for today. Won't have any accessories. And I just broke my shoelace. Huh, interesting. Well, gonna have to get creative here. I'm gonna have to tie it off. I don't think I have any shoelaces. Well, that's reality when you've been using these. This is at least the second pair of laces I've used in these. So had to put a little extra knot there in my shoelaces, but I'll get that taken care of, get new ones in there. But for today, that's gonna work. Starting off, just my body weight squats. Warm up does not have to be very fancy, very technical. Start with some bodyweight squats, go to the empty bar, and it's a little bit of a, not only just a warm up, but practice for the exercise you're going to be performing. Don't need to waste a ton of time. Certainly don't need a lot of time in between sets of your warm-up sets. And you don't need a lot of complicated exercises or drills. Rolling around on the floor for 20 minutes before you start squatting or benching or deadlifting, whatever it may be. Here's 135. And move fairly quickly between your warm-up sets, just the amount of time to load the bar. I'm actually pairing the bench press with the squat here. So I'll alternate back and forth between those sets, but I will wait until I am doing my work sets on my squat. Then I will start my warm-up sets with my bench press. So when I'm done with my squat, I'm doing my work sets with my bench, and then I can warm up my power clean when I'm doing my work sets and my bench press. 225 here. Got the extra 1 pound plates on the end because one of these plates is actually a 20 kg plate. We'll go up about 295 here for my next warm-up set. Typically, I'll wear a belt with my last warm-up set So just so my first working set, I've already felt the difference with the belt. Depends on the intensity. And early on in the weeks of dynamic effort, I didn't wear a belt, but now up about 80%. So I'm gonna wear a belt for this last warm up, just so I'm feeling that before I actually start my work sets. A little sporadic there, a little high on the second rep, but this is the 5th week of the Andy Baker style conjugate system. So this is about 80% for doubles. So he starts kind of typically about 60% for the dynamic effort with bands or chains. I prefer to use bands. Week 2 was 65% with bands, and that's, I think, sets of 5. Then went 70% without any bands on week 3 for sets of 4. And week 4 was 75%. And I think we did sets of 3, and now doing sets of 2 at 80%, no bands. But down controlled and then up fast. And this is the competition lift. This is only time during the week to do the actual competition lift. The dynamic effort, I've always kind of called it what Fred Hatfield called it, compensatory acceleration training. Or with my athletes, we just call it cat squat or cat bench. Just trying to move the bar fast on the way up. And even if it doesn't seem like the bar is moving very fast, if your intention is to move the bar as fast as possible, you're getting that central nervous system effect. You're training the central nervous system to turn on as many muscle fibers as it can, and you're getting that explosive effect, even if the actual bar speed is not very fast. So started my first work set. So now I'm going to flip around and do my first warm-up set of bench. Typically, I would just bench press right here in the rack, but I do have a little setup for when I have people over, just behind the camera here. And so 135 here. This is an older Ivanko bar bought from John Roy when he moved to Colorado. And I really like this bar. Feels really good. It's got good knurling, stiff. It's not too aggressive a knurling. It's interesting. It's got 3 different rings. I've never seen a bar with the 3 different rings, and I haven't done a lot of investigation on it, but I don't know if you can see that, but there's a ring here, and ring here. Haven't really looked into it. Anybody has information on that, I would love to hear about it. Working set 2. See the Massonomics certified training facility here, Brookings Barbell Club. Getting certified, guaranteed 10% improvement in all your lifts. 185. I guess the sun being in my eyes isn't something I've had to deal with, not having benched over here. And usually it's dark when I'm training. So still just doing a touch and go, but we'll progress to a pause. Set number 3. Set on the squat. You hear the vicious guard dogs there. There's a 4th set here. I'm actually using a Ohio Power Bar that I found on Facebook Marketplace for $100 here in South Dakota. 4th set. Second rep was better than the first. Got a little out of sync on that first rep. It happens. So I just hit my 225 last warm-up set on bench press. Now I'm going to hit my 5th set of squats here, and I'm done with my squats, and then I'll be ready for my first working set of bench press at 240. So on the dynamic effort day, I don't usually set a specific timer for in between sets. I know that is kind of prescribed sometimes on a conjugate method. I'm usually training before work, so I work relatively quickly, probably in that 90-second range, I would say. Right now, basically just loading up the next weight for that warm-up set or whatever, and then going, since I'm pairing the bench press and the squat together. Now I'm about to do my first working set of bench, and I will pair that with my first warm-up set of power clean at 135. Here I'm using a Courage barbell that I got Facebook Marketplace deal. I think $125. Spins pretty well. You know, it can be used for just about anything. It has no center knurling. So I bought this so I can use this for my Olympic lifts. And then because I'm doing power clean as my warm up for my deadlift, and I'm early on in my training for the Lift Hard, Live Easy, I will do my deadlifts with this bar. In later cycles, I think the next cycle starting next week, I will do them with the Ohio Power Bar. And then my last cycle, since the Lift Hard, Live Easy will use a deadlift bar, then I do have a Texas deadlift bar that Big Jake, the snake, is barring right now. And that my last cycle before the Lift Hard, Live Easy, then I'll use that Texas deadlift bar for my deadlift sets. But right now, I'm kind of limiting my deadlift a little bit by keeping my shoes on doing an overhand grip. Initially, I didn't wear a belt. Now I am wearing a belt when I get to my heavier sets, but I'm not doing an alternating grip. Still keeping it double overhand, just kind of keeping that intensity down a little bit right now. But start my power clean here. And make sure the microphone is not in the way. Set 2 here, working sets at 240 pounds for sets of 2. Just a touch and go, not pausing at this point, but trying to explode up as fast as possible using that CAT or compensatory acceleration training, or dynamic effort as the West Side likes to call it. Using some milled York plates, actually Tanner's plates right now. Earlier this spring, I picked up in northern Minnesota 10 plates of milled Yorks, some for myself, some for Perfect Little Sweeties, and some for Massonomics, Jim and Tanner, and just holding on to them for right now until he can come and pick them up and tour the Brookings Barbell Club. So utilize them right now, try and put a little mojo in them. So hopefully when they get up there, Tanner can finally get strong. Second warm-up set of power clean, 185 pounds. Do this for a triple. $205 here for a double. Gotta love that sound. These will be my working sets here for power clean, although I'm just kind of doing this as my deadlift warm up, but 215 pounds for doubles. We'll do a couple sets here before I transition to deadlifts. I just hit my first set, working set of power clean. Now I'm going to hit my last set of dynamic effort bench, and then hit my last power clean and transition to my deadlifts. I won't pair anything with my deadlifts. So the power clean and bench, just by its nature, is a little bit lighter, easier to pair those together. I did my warm-up sets of bench with my squat working sets, so that wasn't a big deal, especially since it's not a max effort. But then the deadlift being the heaviest, I'll just use that and just rest in between those sets. My last set of power cleans at 215 pounds, I'd like to take the opportunity to talk about safety. Safety is always important.
Especially drink safety.
$225. I've shown this before, but this is my oak deadlift jack that my father made me. It's different than a lot of deadlift jacks. You don't pull this way, but you put it underneath and lift up. And it's meant for staying in the gym. It's got a longer handle, so it's much easier to deal with. But you go one side at a time, hook it there in, sets up. It's rounded on one edge, so it rolls up nicely, and then got a 90-degree angle on the other, so it comes and it's to a full stop, and the weight of the plate keeps it locked right there. Now, it's not like a traditional powerlifting deadlift jack where it lifts the whole bar, but just using half, doing one at a time. And I actually really like this. It's out of the way. Those deadlift jacks are so big and cumbersome. And for an Olympic lifter, you just don't like having them around on your platform. They're in the way when you're doing Olympic lifts. So this works really, really well. We'll go 295 here. Get 335. $355 is kind of my target weight here. Certainly not very fast, but I'm trying to move the bar fast, like I said, and it's hard for me to not just automatically go to a hook grip. Last set at 355.